Yo, yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream from Business Talks Anime Walks. It is your boy Colin.
And this is your boy Charles. What up, everyone?
Yes, yes, and we have a very good day to bring to y'all. As you guys know, it's Wednesday, so we're going to bring the other or the fourth person of Business Talks Anime Walks, and we're going to have that Business Talks. And we're just going to talk a little bit of the biz about markets, just what's going on in the world, and all that stuff. But want to say once again, welcome. Hope you've had a great Wednesday and whatnot. Drop a comment in the chat just to say what up to your boys. Charles, you got anything to say to the chat?
No, sir. No, it's we're rocking with us. We're about 6:52 Pacific time. Sorry for the time and everything, but for those that will be showing up and joining now, we thank you for always rocking with us.
Facts. So we got a couple special conversations to talk about. But Charles, do you want to take the forefront on the thing that you wanted to bring up today and speak on? Since we can, let's touch on that first, and then we can go with the other stuff since that'll be a little bit more shorter.
Oh, I know what you're saying. Yeah. So I didn't really look at the video you sent me or anything yet, but one thing that we have talked about, that I talked about recently is, this concept of a family compound, the
Yeah,
concept of an actual village,
yeah,
how they say it takes a village, why is that not like an actual like thing?
yeah. Why
And
is it not like more practice?
yeah, and I understand, it comes with a lot of money and everything, but I think doing the research, seeing or trying to lay the foundation for this to actually work would actually be like beautiful. And I've talked with my father-in-law about this now, and I'm not too sure if he's interested in the actual concept and everything of it. But I mean, not
Did he
not the
express
actual.
interest?
He expressed interest, but bringing it to fruition, that might be like something where it's like, you have to kind of get both families on board and everything. So
For sure. And I think the biggest hurdle, and we can do some research on this as the topic goes by. I don't know if you want to pull up like a video or something on like the basics of it, or you don't have to. I'm just saying. But I think the first thing is probably to me. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think it's the first thing is finding good good amount of acres in a good area that everybody would want. I think that's the struggle boat of it all is finding a good area that all like both sides of the family can agree on. That's a decent
right.
size as well because you need if we're gonna have multiple houses, you need at least 20 to 25 acres. So that's a struggle. And then finding
Right.
it in an area that both families are comfortable with is another struggle boat too.
Yeah, that's the thing. Unfortunately, I can't pull it up because I only have limited access on my
Yeah, that's no
hotspot.
problem.
So
I'll do it. But yeah, you can take your turn on it. I mean, I'd start
yeah,
off with the
but
first struggle.
yeah. So like you said, the struggle, just itself with like, when you build this. Like you said, finding the acres and everything, then necessarily, building the houses on it. Because if you're going to have the compound, you essentially will believe it's going to be more than two houses, right? Because,
Hmm.
if you just have one house and one house next to each other, y'all just simple neighbors on the street. But a compound, you have both in laws there, sister there, brother with a house.
Hmm.
So these are the things where you're thinking and you're like, I really want to make sure that I'm able to make this happen by doing my research and everything because it's like, then it goes, okay, do we have to follow rules where like do the houses have to be built the same and everything like that?
Hmm. Yeah, that's
In order
true.
for it to be, a compound. So I just, I'm super interested for it, and then I'm just, it's something that I want to bring up and let it be regular talks.
Yeah. And it's definitely something that we have to. I'm not. Have you mentioned it to our parents, bro?
No, I have not mentioned it.
Okay. Um. So how to buy land? So a lot. I looked up how much does a family compound really cost, and it's really just giving me on how to buy land and not really like the aspect of a family compound. Actually, hold up. County county.org. This looks like an ad. How much do you really need for a family compound? Actually, let me go up here. So yeah, I got this one guy that is just talking. So I'll show this, and I guess we'll just give our opinion on just what he's really saying, and just what we think from just digesting his view on it.
Land, oftentimes what seems like a great deal can oftentimes not seem like a great deal because of the hidden costs that come with buying a piece of property. You see, you need to know what to expect and how to plan ahead before you sign that dotted line on that contract, because what you don't know about that piece of property could cost you thousands of dollars. Now, it's no surprise that what you'll find are some of the best deals on land. The best cost per land is typically out in rural areas. So you have to look at what amenities are close to that property. What amenities can you live without, such as churches, schools, hardware stores, restaurants, grocery stores? Is it 15 minutes? Is it 20 minutes? Is it 30 minutes? How far are you willing to drive? If it's going to take you, for example, an hour to get to Lowe's or Home Depot or Ace Hardware or your local hardware store, is that something that you can live with? Now, to start, you found a great piece of property and it seems like a great value, a good price, and you have to ask yourself, what is your plan with that property? What do you want to do with the land that you're purchasing? For the most part, people are buying a piece of land because they want to build a home on. They want to create what they call their homestead. So as you buy this land, you look at it, you like it, you make an offer to purchase on it. It's important to know there's a lot of things that you can do before you sign the contract and even after you sign the contract. Anything that you can do before you sign the contract, you can do after you sign the contract. So if you see a piece of property that you really like, it's okay to make an offer on it. And here's the reason why. Because there is a due diligence period. And during that due diligence period, typically it's 14 days, you can absolutely check and do your research on everything, and I highly recommend that you do. So it's good to go in with a checklist. What do you need to check? You need to check for permits, you need to check for restrictions, you need to check for easements, encroachments on the property. You want to know that if you're going to build a home on that property, you can do so. And you also need to look at, what if I want to put a mobile home on that property, even if for a short time of 6 months? Is it allowable within the deed restrictions of the property? But it's not just the restrictions. You see, you think you're buying a piece of property from the owner, and the owner says, yeah, you can do whatever you want to with it. There's no restrictions. There's no restrictive covenants or anything that's ever been written up on the property. However, there's this thing called a city, a county, and a parish. And even though it's your property, they can and they'll tell you what you can and can't do on the property. So how would you go about doing all this when it comes to buying a piece of land? You make an offer on a property and you have that due diligence period, as I'd mentioned. From there, you can absolutely pour everything you want to on that property. The plat map, the meets and bounds, the survey, and if it doesn't have a survey on the property, you want to get a survey on the property. Now, we did other videos specific for surveys, encroachments, and that sort of thing. We'll put a link below that we know will help you in the process of buying your piece of property. So look, what you don't want to do is just rely on anyone to do a survey on the property. You want to walk the property. You want to get back into the woods, and Lord forbid, get bug spray. Last thing you want to do is be eat up with a bunch of chiggers and mosquitoes, but you want to walk the property. It's your land. It's your piece of dirt that you're going to own until you decide to sell it into the future. So walk your property yourself. And look, if you see anything out of the ordinary, it's okay to ask questions and bring it up and say, what is this? I don't know about this. I've sold property where everything looks great, but you can't build within a certain area because it's a burial ground. We walk the property and there's tombstones, and the previous owner had no idea.
Yeah, so definitely excavate and explore your property for sure.
Supposedly. So look, when it comes to the contract, there's these big things called trees, and in the contract, you may not realize it, but you'll sign to buy a piece of property and the seller is retaining their timber right. So all of a sudden you hear a chainsaw running, you're like, where's that coming from? Well, They come on your property that you just bought, and they're taking down the timber because you didn't realize when you bought the property, they retained their timber rights. But look, it's not just timber rights, it's mineral rights. What you don't want is 55-gallon drums of crude oil on the property that somebody used to own an auto mechanic shop and they've dumped all over the property. That's why you got to walk your property, because you'll be walking and all of a sudden you come across 66 55-gallon drums of oil, of which have been leaching and leaking into the property, and now you just bought a piece of property that you've got to get an environmental permit on before you can do anything. But it's also important to know that when you buy a piece of land, you don't give up your mineral rights. You see, land has or could have minerals in that, meaning that you could dig for a well. You want to make sure you can be able to do that. But most importantly, you want to make sure that you're not going to give up your mineral rights. That way, when you purchase that property and you close on that property, no one can come on your property to dig a well, to take the oil, or to do anything. You own it there to the center of the earth. It's also extremely important to know that when you're buying a piece of property, if it looks beautiful and it's just this open grassy field and there's no trees on it, and you're thinking, wow, this is perfect, what a good deal, I don't have to pay to have those trees cut down. You have to make sure that there's nothing that's been buried underneath that beautiful grass in the last 10-20 years that will prevent you from building your home. Yeah, believe it or not, people have burned trash, they've buried rubber tires, they've buried oil. So you just have to make sure, do a little research. That's the purpose of a title policy on a property and previous ownerships. And listen, I tell folks, get out and ask the neighbors, talk to your future neighbors, and ask them what used to be on that property, who used to own that property. Find out the history on that property before you make it your property. Now, if you're going to build on the property, you have to also know that there's things called permits, and you have to get permits, but not just a building permit. You got to get permit to basically pull electricity to the property. And you have to make sure that you're not too far away from the poles of which you could pull such electricity. Otherwise, it can cost you a mountain of money. But you know, as an alternative to electricity, you can absolutely live off the grid. You can do solar panels as another means to pull power and electricity to your property. But it's not just about electricity. You have to have water. We all have to have water to survive. So you have to have water, and you also, if you're going to build a home, you want to have the means of which to get rid of the wastewater. They call that brown water and black water. And from there, you got to make sure that you can, in fact, put a septic system on the property, or you can tie into a city or the county or the parish sewer. Is there natural gas available to the property? If there's natural gas available to the property, that will take another permit. You're going to be able to tap into that. So you can see how when you start adding up the costs, you're going to have a building permit, you're going to have a septic permit, you're going to have a well permit. You got to have permits, and you got to make sure that you're showing your plans and everything and doing it all by board. Otherwise, your dreams will be shot. So you can see how the cost of land can add up really quick. It's not just the cost of the land. You have to ask yourself, what do you want to do with the property? If you're going to build a home on it, can you put temporary housing such as a mobile home, or park a motor home on the property for 6 to 8 months while you build that property? And pull in permits and check those costs. Another undisclosed cost that many people don't realize are city impact fees or county impact fees. Yes, they will charge you anywhere from $3,000 to $9,000 sometimes, I've heard, to build on your property just because they need to collect money from the county. But listen, the purpose of this video is not to discourage you buying land, it's to educate you so you know what to do, what to expect, so there's no hidden cost and hidden agenda. You want to make sure that's your property, no one can bother you, no one can touch you, it's your deal, and you don't overpay at the end of the day.
Cole?
Right. So, Charles, give me your thoughts on that.
A lot of permits.
Yeah.
A lot of permits.
For sure.
So, you know, us talking about it is easy, right?
Yeah.
Until the actual putting the work in and then trying to figure out, like, how much is it really going to cost? Just by the permits alone, it seems like it's over 100,000. I don't know. I'm not, I don't know the numbers. I don't know how it goes, from city to city, state to state. It could be much different. You know, it can be much different with everybody, you know, throughout their process of trying to do this and everything. But like you said, like trying to pull, like needing like a timber license, an environmental specialist, like trying to pull electricity into your compound.
Yep.
It's
Water,
a lot.
gas.
And then you would think like, when would have been the best time to actually do this? Like, would now be okay to do it? Like, you know,
Well, here's the thing about the real estate.
you're muted.
Sorry, I didn't know how I got muted. But I've been hearing some really. I don't know why my thing is just muting me. I've been hearing some really good things about the real estate market. I don't know if you've heard any recent news.
No, what's going on?
I've heard, excuse me, guys. I've heard the rates are down and that it's a great time to buy as of now.
Well, if that's the case, that's good.
Let's check it out together.
That's really good.
It out together.
That is really good.
This was produced yesterday, everybody. As you can see, October 21st by Newsweek. U.S. housing market has historical buyer-seller gap. What it means. Sellers in U.S. market currently outnumber buyers about 500,000. Latest Redfin data.
Is that like the national standard for like the housing market, Redfin?
I think so. My friend there, 2.6. Let's see. Real estate market 10, 22, 2025. All right. Excuse me, guys. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. As of October 2022, 2025, the real estate market is in a period of cautious stabilization with conditions shifting in favor of buyers in many areas. Mortgage rates have moderated from recent highs but remain elevated, which is fueling increased inventory, slowing home price growth, and giving buyers more leverage. A widespread market crash is considered unlikely. Key trend: mortgage rates are stabilizing. So after Federal Reserve cut in September 2025, 30-year fixed mortgage rates have settled into the mid 6% range. I heard in New Jersey that it's around 5 and 4. This is still high compared to a record low season during the pandemic, and forecasts suggest they will likely remain at 6 to 6.5 range for the foreseeable future. Inventory is increasing, offering more choices. Then we have price growth is slowing, not crashing. Excuse me. Affordability challenges persist. A buyer-friendly fall for those able to afford current prices and rates. The fall market is offering a more balanced environment, slower competition, and more realistic seller expectations are allowing for more negotiations. A stark contrast to the bidding wars of recent years. Regional performance variance obviously is regional. Okay. So basically, that's what I've heard is that it's starting to stabilize. The market is starting to slowly stabilize with the rates finally settling lower, but it's still obviously it's still pretty high for a lot of people. But it is, like this one said, regional performance is varied. It's still vary per different markets. But I've been hearing a lot, especially on social media, people like, hey, like now's a good time if you were ever interested in a home. Now's a good time to get it because of the interest rates and people are not just stupidly increasing prices, Charles. And so, that's a good thing about that. Guys, drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat what you think about the real estate market.
Guys. My I
Yeah,
have
let them know.
internet out. I have an internet outage in my area and everything, but if this keeps going out and everything, my brother will he'll take over the stream and everything just like you did. Um,
But as you see, we give an effort.
yeah, we give an effort. You know, first time content creators, no excuses, man.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, Charles,
so
I was just still talking about the real estate market and how it's starting to stabilize at least with the interest rates. Because I've been seeing a lot on social media how a lot of people are saying, hey, if you've ever been interested in buying a home within these past few years since the pandemic, now is the time because it's at a low, right? It's crazy how like this game is now being played. Like people are like, oh, don't buy now, and now you just get a flood of news saying, hey, if you've ever been interested, start looking now before it starts going crazy again.
it makes you question. It actually does really make you question, like, what's the right info and everything. What's the source that we get the right and correct info from?
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, mortgage rates are low right now. So I think that's all that people are really going after is when the Federal Reserve is giving new information like, hey, market mortgage rates are low, and people are like, hey, you just heard.
Right.
So, but yeah, do you have anything else to say about family compounds?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a thing where it's like, it doesn't matter really how old you are,
Yeah,
because when you do it, the goal is what? To pass it on, right? To sell it or
yeah,
pass it on and everything. So it's like, we hope, to always have our parents, around as long as we can and everything so they can see our grandchildren grow and everything like that. But even
sure.
then, like, you can have people fill in the shoes and live there. You can have aunts, uncles as well. So I'm
Hmm.
excited for the concept of, of a family compound. I think it's something that we'll continue to work for. And in the up and coming years, I hope we actually like at least attempt it.
Yeah, start working towards it because
Right.
obviously we have goals before that personally, but it's definitely something that I want to continue to have conversations with guys. Drop it in the chat if you've ever been interested in a family compound. Have you ever thought about the idea of it? And if not, then why not? Why do you think it's a bad idea for yourself personally? But yeah, I like the idea, and it's something that I definitely would like to entertain moving forward. Ooh, I got to. Ooh, excuse
Bless
me.
you.
Yeah, thank you. I
Hmm.
couldn't react quick enough to mute myself.
Oh, good.
But yeah, he definitely dropped some knowledge, guys. If you saw his page and his name, go check him out as well. If you did have some interest in it. Excuse me.
All right, guys. It seems that my brother's internet connection is starting to become choppy itself.
Is it,
Um, we're gonna keep moving on with the real raw authentic conversations that we're having right now and
guys? Can you
everything.
hear me?
So business wise and everything, one thing that me and my brother, again, we talked about, or we're into multifamily businesses. So well, the concept of multifamily
Mm-hmm.
business, right?
Yeah.
And we want to be, essentially landlords, but we want to get our foot into the real estate game. So even though we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about, compounds and everything like that, our first thing is, land a property, land a home ourselves and everything.
For sure. That's just the goal, man. Is just to get the first one under our belt because if anybody's read real estate books,
And with that
which
same concept of wanting to get a home, we want to see that, see a monopoly of this. We want to see that multiply, right? So we want to see that get to two, you know, homes, the properties that me and my brother would own and everything, and then we want to see this turn into quad a quadplex and everything like that. So
you
yeah, so as you see, guys, no excuses. We're trying our best right now, even though my internet is
can you
super
hear me?
choppy. Yep, we can hear you.
But yeah, I heard you talk about multifamily. It's definitely a goal for us, and it's been like that for a while, guys. You guys drop it in the chat if you've ever been interested in real estate. And here's a thing about multifamily. If you've ever read like a real estate book, you always hear on every real estate book how the first one's the hardest, but it's the life changing one. Charles,
Yep.
actually, you actually just got done reading a book. Can you just give a little snippet on your just knowledge
Yep.
from what you read, and then how it applies to just our goal as business?
You
Business
got me
owners.
this book for my
Yeah,
birthday, I believe, or for Christmas. I can't really tell which one it
birthday.
was, but yeah, my birthday. I know I was right. So it's called One Rental at a Time, and it's from Michael Zuber, and it talks about how he went through, and became financially free through his 9 to 5, and it only took, like it said, one rental at a time. And it said even though it took him to get, the first one the longest, it was the life changing one or the one that turned the gear.
Yeah.
And he gives a lot of like life tips and goals and everything, and just his perspective from somebody that struggled to actually like becoming, this person that they're able to retire and do the things that they do. It was not a lot of pages, guys. So
How many?
168 pages.
Oh, guys, that's a quick read. Honestly, you could get that done in a month easily.
Shoot, for those that like to read, in a couple weeks.
Yeah, probably 2 weeks for those that like to read. Probably like 15 pages on average.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, guys, it's something that we've been aspiring for. And if you're one of those who ever thought about it, once again, drop it in the chat. But it's just the struggle with getting the first one. It's always been that struggle of getting your life in order to get that first one. And we're currently going through the pangs of that right now, right? Like we're going through that right now to just get to that point to where we're in position to now seek out, realtors, look at properties, do the math, have our stuff in order for real estate purposes, right? Like certain folders for certain things or like income and credit, history. We can just pull it out, so we're not there yet, but that's the goal to get there. And we hold each other accountable to get there. So if you've ever been like that, then definitely let us know. Yep.
Yeah, my hotspot keeps jumping in and out.
All right, guys. As you hear from my brother on the phone, his dickhead ass connection ain't working. So it looks like it's gonna be you and your boy Colin for the rest of the business talks. So Charles, just say what up to the chat and just say a deuce as well, guys. We put in the effort regardless. So here goes my brother.
Hey guys, hope to catch y'all next week on the stream.
Yep.
I will, hope we'll have my internet back in its place working and everything. I pay too much money for that, so check y'all out next time. Colin, let them know we're actually gonna have to talk about a change up in the schedule and everything.
Yeah, I'll talk about that.
All right, so be on the lookout, guys. I'll probably be back.
All right. All right, bro. Well, enjoy the rest of your night, and I'm going to carry the business talks away.
All right, bro.
All right, deuces. So, yeah, guys, just to talk about that schedule change, actually, he brought up a good point. He brought up a great point, actually, because I totally forgot about it. I ain't going to lie to y'all. But why is it giving me? Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. Let's see. Y'all gonna see me struggle. You gonna see me struggle, and we gonna do it together. Screw it. No. Mm. And that's the thing about EV Mux is that it's not as fluid or fluid. I don't know if that's the right word to be using, but it's not as fluid. Just kick me out, guys. I have no idea what the heck just happened. It literally just kicked me out. 1 second, everybody. Yeah, it's not really making much sense. It's not letting me get rid of this. No. Yeah, I wonder why. Oh. Hmm. It's weird because usually I can just click here and then it disappears. But for some reason, it's not allowing me. It's like I have to have like a background, like color effect on this, which is not the way for what I'm trying to do right now. It's weird. There we go. There we go. God damn it. All right. There we go, everybody. God dang it. That was a struggle. That was a real life struggle. Sheesh. But we're back in business now. We are back in business. So yeah, guys, about the new schedule for business talks and anime walks. At least I can at least say that for us, we're going to be moving to a Monday Wednesday schedule because what we do right now is Tuesday through Tuesday and Wednesday, but now we have to change up our schedule to to Monday and Wednesday, and that's because me and my brother are both getting our masters, and our classes are Tuesday and Thursday. My brother's already a doctor, and he has his doctorate, but he's getting a second master's, and I'm starting my master's, which will be on Tuesday and Thursday. So we're just moving into that kind of schedule just because it makes sense for both of us, and we have to dedicate some time. We have to dedicate some type of time to that, right? Like we can't just ignore the classes, right? This is something that we decided to do, so we're going to see it through because that's how we're supposed to. That's how you gotta live. You gotta be consistent with whatever you decide to do. But that'll be the schedule moving forward, which will be Monday and Wednesday, and possibly a good Sunday too. We might hop on Sunday too. Definitely, if we're just like, hey, like I'm in the mood to drop some content. I want to see the chat. I want to talk to them. Then we'll definitely hop on. And any other days that we can, we will, guys. Especially if you guys want more content, you're like, hey, pump, produce more. Then we're definitely going to sacrifice time and dedicate the time to you guys because we want business talks and anime walks to be our main priority because this is our baby that we're both growing together. But moving forward in the business talks, we already talked about the real estate market. Interest rates have dropped. Or mortgage rates have dropped, making it a little bit more cushiony for people who have expressed interest in buying a home. That now is a decent time, at least for the mortgage rates. That if you catch a good house for a good interest rate and mortgage rate, you might be able to get in for a low price or a decent price and not pay all that interest. And we talked about family compound. That was a news topic that we were talking about throughout the day. And we was like, we might as well just bring to the chat because they might have a similar interest or maybe have thought about it or have not thought about it, guys. And if you're like, hey, I haven't thought about that, then, then I haven't thought about it, right? But moving forward, the topic now is the New Jersey governor race, guys. If you know us, we are Jersey boys, Jersey men, grew up in Jersey. We are diehard Jersey lovers. It's a love hate relationship. I'm not gonna lie, because it can get pretty expensive here, but nonetheless, we are still Jersey boys. So we're gonna look up right now a little bit of information on the Jersey race for governor, because I think the election is the first week of November. I think it's the first week of November. If anybody's in New Jersey, definitely let us know if there's been anything else. It's the NJ president speaks on governor's race between and Resident speaks. No, I don't want to hear that. NJ speaks on governor resident. No, that's New York. So there's nothing really. It might not even be worth touching on, because there's nothing really new. There's the last debate that they had face to face, guys, was 13 days ago. 13 days ago, and I think that was in Orange County. I think what was that college? I forget, but it was, I believe, it was at Rider University, which I don't think is in Orange County. But either way, they just had their debate 13 days ago. Yeah, 13 days ago, and I'm pretty sure it was probably their last one, just because the up and coming vote is in 2 weeks. So we'll see how that goes, guys. I'm not going to make it a political thing in here, but this is Business Talks. Anyway, walks in. Politics do have some effect to business, right? So, sometimes politics must be talked about, even if you're not the biggest, politic type of person. So let's see. So yeah, that's the conversation about the governor's race. Let's do some deep diving on Colombia not receiving any funds from America anymore, and just Trump's comments on that. So let me look that up, because let me see, because I don't know anything about that. Guys, if you know anything about that, drop it in the chat too. Funds 2025. Let's see, Columbia. That's a short. Actually, I don't mind a short, guys. Let's watch this short. I think it's a couple seconds. I'm going to share this with y'all. Be 1 sec. All right, let's see this together, and we're gonna see what the hell is going on. Can y'all see that? So I'll make it a little bit. I'm gonna make it a little bit more bigger for y'all, because I want you guys to get a decent look at it. Look at it. 1 second, everybody. All right. Let's see what they're talking about.
$200 million fine to settle a fight with the Trump administration. Now we are learning Columbia University has agreed to pay a $200 million fine to settle a fight with the Trump administration. Now the White House alleges that the school failed to do enough to stop the harassment of Jewish students on campus. The university says hundreds of millions in federal research funding will be restored as part of the deal. The school also says it will follow laws banning certain DEI policies. There's still no word from the White House, but this deal settles a bunch of civil rights investigations into the university as President Trump has sued several elite schools in recent months. Now we are learning Columbia University has agreed to pay a $200 million fine to settle a fight with the Trump administration.
It's over. So yeah, Columbia University is trying to bail itself out now, guys, with the $200 million payment for it. So, because of the Jewish thing, guys, give your thoughts in the chat on what you think about that. Like I said, I'm going to be apolitical on most things because I want to hear you guys talk about it, and then I'll respond. But I mean, I don't know if what they did was wrong or right, but obviously they're paying $200 million to restore the funding. So I guess they're just like, hey, maybe we did some wrong, or maybe we could have did better. So yeah, here's this money. Just leave us alone at this point for Trump. But that's what I can say on that. Yeah. And then the rest that you can see is basically just the same thing, guys. So, that's that. That's that. You guys, but drop it in the comment section what you think about it. Once again, let me know what you're thinking, because I don't really know too much about that. I don't really keep on politics. So if I'm being honest with you, I really don't keep up on politics like that, if I'm just keeping it 100 with you. And then Terra Forward China. I actually do want to look up Terra Forward China just because I've been hearing a lot of spiciness on Terra Forward with China and what's happening with that, because apparently that's getting more heated. So let's look at this together. All right, guys, here we go. We're going full screen it and then skip this.
Casino. And this China's paying 55% and a potential 155% come November 1st, unless we make a deal. And I'm meeting with President Xi. They try and take advantage, but most countries do. I mean, I can say the European Union took advantage, but not anymore. I think China's been very respectful of us. They're paying tremendous amounts of money to us as in the form of tariffs. As you know, they're paying 55%. That's a lot of money. They never were paying anything over years and years and years. But they were like anybody else. A lot of countries took advantage of the U.S. They're not taking advantage anymore. No, China's paying 55% and a potential 155% come November 1st, unless we make a deal. And I'm meeting with President Xi. We have a very good relationship. We're going to be meeting in South Korea in a couple of weeks. And we'll see what we can do. We have a very good relationship with China, but it's been probably a little bit like your relationship with China. They try and take advantage, but most countries do. I mean, I can say the European Union took advantage, but not anymore. We worked out a very fair trade deal. Japan, we worked out a very fair deal.
I gotta look this stuff up to see if it's really fair. Chat. Drop it in chat if you think it's fair.
I expect we'll probably work out a very fair deal with President Xi of China. So most of you will be with us. It's going to be very exciting. And I think we're going to work out something that's good for both countries. I think China's been very respectful of us. They're paying tremendous amounts of money to us as in the form.
Okay, he's definitely saying the same thing, Chad. Or am I tripping? Am I tripping, or he's just saying the same thing? Am I tripping, chat? I think he's saying the same thing. I wanted to get a little bit more spicy on just what's really going on. I don't want to listen to him because he's just a social media influencer. CNBC, Trump says U.S. is in a trade war with China now. Is CNBC like one-sided? Is it one-sided, everybody? I don't know this stuff. I don't know. I don't look at this. I know Fox News is more Republican and CNN is more Democratic. I want to get something that's a little bit more in the middle.
to Washington now for the latest on that subject. President Trump, by the way, now saying we are in a trade war with Beijing. Different from previous language? Well, let's ask Eamon Javers, who joins us now. Good morning, Eamon.
Yeah, good morning to you, David. This comment by the president yesterday at a press availability at the White House getting a lot of attention because the president did say that we're in a trade war with China. And I've gone back and done a search for the course of this year. I don't think he has said this as directly as he said it yesterday before in the second term. He actually referred to a trade war with China in the first term. I can't find any specific reference to the president acknowledging that we're in a trade war here in the second term. But I want to play you this question and answer that he got because the nuance here, I think, is important. Here's how that Q&A went down yesterday.
So it's official now by Trump's words, apparently.
President, you're meeting with President Xi in a few weeks.
Yeah.
If you can't come to an agreement or a deal at that meeting, are we in for a sustained trade war with China?
Well, you're in one now.
So you heard the president there saying, well, we're in a trade war now, but it was really in a response to a question of how long are the current tensions going to go on. I think what's happening there is sort of the president, acknowledging the obvious, of course, which is that the trade war exists, but also that trying to deflect really a question of how long should we expect this period of heightened tension to last. So I think, we're putting a lot of focus on this answer from the president, but it might not be as significant. I think he was just trying to move past that question by not giving sort of an estimate of time in months or weeks of how long this tension is going to last between the two countries. Also, guys, last night we saw this response from the Chinese side. Remember, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, in a response to a question from me yesterday at his press conference, really tore into a lower-level Chinese negotiator, saying that particular individual had been irresponsible, was being disruptive, and was causing problems in the trade negotiations. The Chinese side overnight defending their man, saying that this Vice Minister of Commerce, Li Chenggong, was doing his job and was behaving appropriately, despite the really tough criticism and unusual criticism from Bessent yesterday going after an individual negotiator. So both sides backing each other up in terms of defending their guy, and we'll see where that goes, guys.
I just grokked what is a trade war. A trade war is an economic conflict where countries impose tariffs, quotas, or other trade barriers on each other's goods and services to protect domestic industries, retaliate against perceived unfair trade practices, or gain economic leverage. I feel like he was just defining it. I mean, that's literally what's happening when it comes to the restrictions that China's making on rare earths, that we've made on semiconductors, the tariff threats, the leverage. I mean, it's just, I'm not sure.
I think that's
to
right.
read into it anything more than that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the point that I'm making. He's just acknowledging the obvious there. But what he was doing was trying to avoid answering a question of how long this might go on in the future. And so I think he was just trying to move past the question and get to the next question.
Eamon, thanks for that. Eamon Javers.
Okay. Well, basically what this video stated is basically Trump admitting that we are in some kind of trade war with China. And I think the average American kind of guessed that. If I'm being honest with you, I think we already guessed that. Just with all the hype around tariffs and whatnot. So I don't think that's any news to anybody, if I'm being honest with you. I don't think that's any news to anybody for real. I'm not sitting here shocked from it. I'm not shocked. So, well, I guess we'll see where it goes, chat. I don't really know. That's all I can really speak on for, the tariff wars and all that. I hope everything works out. Obviously, I don't want my gas and my costs of goods for, any future business endeavors or, just regular goods, regular purchases, right? Because half of the stuff do be coming from China. And now if it's going to get pumped up, I'm gonna buy less. I'll be honest with you. I'll be so serious about that. If I see increased prices, I'm gonna thug it out on bare minimum for real. I ain't about to sit here and have the same kind of mentality when it comes to shopping. I'm really not. Like I'll dead ass just be like a freaking monk and just live off of like as little as possible. I'm not playing around when it comes to that, guys. But drop it in the chat what you think about the trade wars. Let me know what you think, guys. if you have anything about Columbia University not receiving any funds and now forfeiting, they basically threw up the white flag and was like, okay, here's your money. Just give us our, college funds back. That's what's up. And if you're a Jersey resident, just like your boy, drop it in the chat. Who you think gonna win the race in 2 weeks once elections come? I don't really have an opinion on any of it. I'm just learning as we go, guys. Honestly, like when I'm looking this stuff up, you're literally watching it first time, just like me, if I'm being honest with you. So, yeah, that's that, guys. What else can I really say? Let's look up some market news. Market news. Let's see. 10, 22. Oh, shit. 22, 25. Did we even read some? I don't even think we read any some stock market news. Okay. I'm gonna share this one instead. All right, so what'd I do? Okay, so it says stock market news, October 22, 2025. Dow drops over 300 points to end 3-day winning streak. NASDAQ and S&P 500 slip on report that U.S. may escalate trade war with China. So we just got done talking about that and see how it's affecting the stock market, guys. Definitely peep that. Pay attention to what's happening in the world because it does affect your pockets if you are investing in the stock market, whether that be a 401k or your Roth IRA or just your, your regular portfolio account. NASDAQ and S&P 500 slip on report that U.S. may escalate trade wars with China. Tesla and IBM report earnings after market close. So the NASDAQ was doing apparently really good, and now it's finally dropped. So anybody who was holding it for, let's say, maybe a swing trade, hopefully you pulled out. Or if you was doing a day trade, hopefully you was looking forward to it dropping and caught the stop loss. And it sounds like that if you have a 401k or Roth IRA, or you just invested in the S&P 500 heavily, it's currently down right now. But we already know the trend of the market. It typically goes up year by year by around 10%. So I'm not personally tripping on that. I invest for the long term for my stock portfolio. And I definitely recommend that you guys do. If you haven't ever even looked up what a stock is, please do your research. We talked about that last week. Charles introduced us to just the bare minimum basics of what a stock is and how to invest properly, guys. But this is all good knowledge to know, guys. I really hope that y'all taking advantage of all this free information. Like we really live in a society now that information is really just right here, but it can be just too much to where it's just overload. And because it's there, you don't do anything with it. I really think that's how our generation is. Like, because it's so available, a lot of people don't even try. Like, to be honest with you, I didn't give a fuck when I was younger. I didn't give a fuck. Like, about any other information, because I knew that it was always readily there. Like I was like, oh yeah, we got market watch right here. I'll just click into that whenever, instead of actually studying it. You know what I'm saying? Like actually studying it. And even though I did fall off, but I didn't lose my bare minimum know-hows. I know how to create an account. I know how to invest properly. I know how to dollar cost average back into my account. So when the time is right, whenever the time is right, and that's not saying that the time is not right now, because it is, but whenever I have access in the financials to invest a little bit more or just a little bit less, I still know how to dollar cost average into the market. But I think a lot of people just struggle with, just getting started. And that's the main thing, is just getting started, guys. Like, a lot of people just wait. Like, and the crazy part is, I read something that says like the average adult doesn't even have more than like 6K in their pocket. And that's crazy, guys, because like we gotta save. You feel me? Like it's just crazy to think like the average person doesn't really try that fucking hard. Like, the average person really don't try that hard, guys. It's really not hard to get ahead from a lot of people, because most people don't give enough effort. They really don't. like dead ass. Like they really don't give enough effort to get ahead, and if you focus, that will be your upside because you're like, hey, I'm staying locked in. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like a lot of people give up in the gym before 3 months, right? But if you stay consistent, but if you're that person that still goes every single goddamn day and you're 6 months later, now you're jacked as shit and your friend's like, damn, you big, right? And they might try to clown you and then you're like, yo, like, I just stay consistent and you hate it. You know what I'm saying? So we got to look at that and just continue to persevere. And it applies to the market too, guys. You have to be consistent with investing. Let's keep it a bean. Like this is the way, to get ahead, guys. There's no shortcut to this shit. Like invest in the stock market, save up your goddamn money, go get a fucking property, invest in Bitcoin or crypto. I don't know a lot about crypto. That's why we're not touching really on it. And I don't want to sit here and talk about crypto like I know the shit. I can talk basics with stocks and I can talk basics with real estate. I can't talk shit at all with crypto. I really can't, you know, but invest maybe like, I don't know, maybe like 20% of your total, maybe like 10, 15, 20% of your total income to the crypto if you really think that that's going to boom, which it might. I definitely do think, I'm definitely one of those believers that think like, yo, like Bitcoin's going to hit 100K one day. And I definitely think that. And that's why I bought some crypto, you know, because I do believe that it's going to hit that one day. And my crypto account has gone up, you know, so it's not like that I'm saying like, oh, well, it's not like, no, like it really will. It really will. In due time, though. But yeah, guys, that's just a little bit about the stock market. I didn't want to touch on this too much because we've been bouncing from back to back. We've been talking about, guys, you already know how this goes. Like, we talk about fucking real estate here. We talk about fucking everything here. Like, we talk about everything here, guys. Like, for real. And that's how I like it, you know? And I want y'all to be a little bit more active in the chat. Let me know if there's anything that you want to talk about, because I want to bring it to attention as well. I actually want to see. Actually, give me 1 sec, guys. I actually want to see. Let's see. Let's see what the crazy part is this. I don't fuck with a lot of people like that stream, but I do fuck heavily with AMP guys. I think y'all do too, right? I don't think y'all some haters or some shit. Like I really do think that y'all be fucking with them too. Oh shit. Hold up. All right, yeah, share the steps. There.
Some cool shit. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, comment if you got face tats or not. Let me know.
Is it 5 or 10?
What the fuck?
More than 50.
MS-13 and many other gangs. These are animals. These aren't people.
They're psychopaths, sociopaths, the kind of people we have here.
We are about to see the worst of the worst. Welcome to CCOP, the world's largest prison by capacity in El Salvador, which was constructed to imprison the highest profile criminals.
And apparently
those who
now it's the safest
destined
country in the
never
world or
to
something
leave
like that after imprisoning all these gang members.
How you gonna come out of this?
The reason why this small country of 6 million needs the largest prison is the gangs. Once dominating the country, these gangs faced a dramatic crackdown starting in March 2022. Under President Nayib Bukele's administration, over 70,000 individuals, about 2% of the country's adult population.
Guys, if you want to keep watching Phantom, definitely do yourself a favor and check out Phantom. He's a cool dude to me. Like I said, I really don't follow a whole lot of content creators like that. But I do follow AMP. I definitely support them. I think they cool people. I don't know nothing about them, but I know they're East Coast boys, and I'm a Jersey guy, and I know Kai and Phantom from New York, so shout out to New York as well. But that's just me personally. And I like the whole gang, bro. Let me know what y'all thoughts are on AMP as well. But guys, I'm gonna get up out of here, guys. It's been a long day for me. I might be back on tomorrow, guys. If you would like Business Talks Anime Walks to be back on tomorrow, definitely let us know in the Chizat. Let us know. All right, hit us up. Drop a like, drop a comment, and everything, guys. Share our content, guys. We would definitely appreciate that. All right, we would definitely appreciate that. But guys, other than that, it's been a blast. Definitely take care of yourselves. It's been real in his business talks and anime walks in the building, and we will see you guys later. Take it easy.